You're listening to Eat, Play, Sex with Dr. Cat, the place to up-level that sexy life of yours, with expert talk on sex, love, and nutrition.
So we'll do listener questions.
Okay.
Okay. Oh my God, this is so good right now. And I want to, so we've made this a tradition in season 3 of Eat, Play, Sex to start bringing in more of our listeners' questions, because they bring in the best questions, the best material here. So so if you follow me on Instagram at Sex Love Yoga, I've been taking your questions and I put them to my guest experts here. So what the first question is, how do you get a man back after you've hurt them? Ooh, oh my God.
Juicy one. I would say, well, this goes to both people. You may not. Right? I think we just have to accept that you may not. That relationship rubber band, right? You can stretch it, you can stretch it, and if it snaps, it may have snapped. So I think starting from that point is just starting from reality that this may not work. And then personally, I believe you do the work that you need to do so that when you come to that person, you say, hey, first of all, I fucked up and I'm really sorry about that. And I know this hurt you in these ways. You acknowledge the pain that you caused and say, this is what I've done to remedy this situation and make sure that it never happens again. To me, that's complete. Then it's not like, well, how do I know it's not going to happen again? I promise it won't. Mm-hmm. I promise when I get triggered in the exact same way I got triggered before, I'll magically do something new. Like, well, I don't really believe that. And are they willing to acknowledge it? Are they stepping fully into like, hey, I totally fucked up and I'm sorry.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
It's just a powerful state, even for you as the fucker upper, to just own like, hey, I did this and I'm sorry. It's not how I aspire to be. I can't say it's not me. Like anyone who's like, that's not me. I'm like, yes, it was. Yes, it was.
Yeah,
yes,
yeah.
It is. And I've said it myself. Like, I can't believe I did that. But yes, it's me. So own it. Own the pain that you caused, and then come to them with how you've worked on it and some solutions, right?
Yeah.
What did you need in that moment? Sorry, please, I cut you off.
Oh no, I was just gonna say, yeah, I would also add on there, be empathetic. Like, see if you can connect with how they must have been feeling when they received that, that behavior or that action or those words or that energy. Because now I'm just energy can hurt too. Like how you present yourself and what that must have been like for them to be on that receiving end.
Yeah, you got to humble yourself a little bit. I know, I don't like it either, but I've had to do it.
Yeah.
It's freeing. It's really, really freeing. When I did that year project, Kat, in 2016, one of the first things I knew I had to do, so it was titled the Year to Live project, where I lived the entire year as if it were my last. One of the very first things was making amends with someone that I dated 5 years before. Mm-hmm. And I reached out to her and said, I know it's 5 years. You can tell me to go fuck myself. I owe you an apology. Can we go get coffee?
Yeah.
And I had to sit across from her and say, okay, this is not an excuse. This is what was going on in my life at the time. Mm-hmm. I'm 100% apologetic for how I treated you. I would love to hear what it was like from your perspective. And period, I'm sorry.
Yeah. And
that freed us both. It didn't absolve me of my behavior, but at least I didn't sit around. Every time I'd thought about her for 5 years, I got a tummy ache. Like that, something's happening here that I need to clear the field. I need to take all of those open loops and close them. So I get some of my energy back and get my integrity back.
Yeah. Oof, I love that. And so question number 2, I'm dating this amazing woman, but there's something missing in our energy together. And I've had in past relationships, so it doesn't feel quite right. Not sure if I stick through it or call it quits. So this is perfectly what we're talking about with that ambiguity.
Mm-hmm. Can he name? I would ask him what it is. Like,
I can't ask him.
I know. if you were in front of me, like, well, what is it that's missing? And here's the question. And because I've been there myself, like, oh, there's something missing. So that's my invitation to scoot out the side door. As opposed to, that's my invitation to looking and seeing, am I allowing this thing that I want to experience? Am I facilitating it? Am I inviting it? Am I showing it first in myself? Or am I asking her to show me something, go somewhere that I'm not willing to go first?
Woof.
Ooh.
Whoa.
Talk to men about, you want to be a leader? You want to be a fucking king, bro? And have the whole Instagram king thing? Then you gotta be the one that steps up first and ask yourself, where are you hiding? Where are you not fully showing up? Because perhaps it's the exact same experience for her, but with just a different flavor in the relationship. She's craving something too.
Wow. Yeah. And that idea of vulnerability, I think about, this idea of, again, be feminine and soft and vulnerable and all this stuff. Well, where are you also being vulnerable and being, super raw yourself? If we are expecting that to show up in another person, how are we doing that here? Yeah. Oof. Love that. Okay. So number 3, what if my guy just doesn't want to talk about our issues? That's so good. That's like the question on everyone's mind.
First of all, you have like my full-hearted empathy, because that must be frustrating as shit to have someone that's that closed off. And so we go back to what we said originally. Can you enroll them? Can you, and I know this is a shitty way to frame it, but I'll do it anyway. Can you sell it a different way? Right? And or not, then why are you with someone like that? Why is it okay for you to be with someone who's not engaged in the relationship and conversation? When I say this to men, I'm like, have you ever had a business partner? Like, yeah. Have you ever gone to meetings and your business partner is not there? They just no-show. How long would that person be your business partner for? Maybe I'd fire him tomorrow. I'd quit tomorrow. Like, that's how your woman feels. And she shows up to the meeting and is like, hey, it's a relationship meeting. You're like, fucking stupid. I don't want to do this. I don't want to talk about it. You're allowed to say, I don't want to talk about it all the way into the meeting while you sit your ass down and then start talking about it. You don't have to like it, but you got to show up for it.
Yeah.
Yeah. So my question back to her is, why is it okay to be in a relationship with someone who won't talk to you about stuff?
Yeah.
It's not blaming, but like, where in your game is that a hole, right? Like where is that an allowance where it shouldn't be? Right?
That's powerful. I get that in a similar form from people often of, how do I get my guy to do couples therapy, or how do I get my guy to do his own therapy, or to do this online program with me, or that kind of thing. And I think similar to what we're saying, like, look at the resistances, like what might be there, because it's scary to look at your stuff. As we were talking about earlier, it's fucking scary to say, oh, I'm going to look at my shit, and
Right. You've got to almost take it a mile away from therapy. Like, what is the thing that if I have this thing that I don't want you to know, if I have a secret or something I'm ashamed of, or I'm going to be told that I'm not measuring up, or there's something I don't want to look at, acknowledge, own, or share, and I put that thing in like my downstairs basement closet, and that's where it lives, then I have a pretty good way of making sure that you never get there. I don't let you in the house. Now, I have a really good way of not letting you in the house. I don't let you in the yard. I have an even better way to make sure you never get in the yard. I don't let you in my city or in my neighborhood, let's say. And that's the guy who won't talk about relationship. He's usually so scared of something that's deep buried in his shadow, that's down there in the closet, that he's like, can't get there. I can't share my trauma with her.
Yeah.
The thing I'm embarrassed about or ashamed of. And Kat, here is, I mean, you're a therapist. You must hear so much of the upper ends of this. In the past 5 years of leading men's workshops, there have been radical shifts in the amount of trauma men are willing to acknowledge that happened to them. And so I tell them, I've taught self-defense. I know the numbers of sexual assault and sexual violence against women. I know it. And yet I still forget when I'm dating someone that most likely she's been traumatized multiple times, if not fully. But I have to remember that. I have to remember. And most guys don't even know that exists. And so most women don't realize just how brutally a man may have been traumatized in his past. We don't really have societal space for that yet, right? I don't know what your religion is, but the Catholic Church still exists. There have been thousands and thousands and thousands of cases of molestation against mostly boys. And yet it's like, oh, well, fuck it. It's dudes. They'll get over it. And then we're just starting to learn about all the ways that men have been traumatized.
Yeah.
And so it may not be like, if it may not be that I don't want to go to therapy with you, but I don't want to admit that I watched my dad beat the shit out of my mom and there was nothing I could do about it because I was 8.
Yeah.
And so I'm not going to go to fucking therapy with you because this is stupid. Right? As opposed to like owning that, or for my woman to realize like, wow, there's something in there deeply buried.
Mm-hmm.
That this guy doesn't have permission, skill, or even the capacity to hold. It would be like ripping the Band-Aid off an atomic bomb. Now that's some guys. I also just want to say some guys are fucking lazy, and don't be lazy, guys listening to this. Like go to therapy. Everybody. Like I think at birth you should get like a birth certificate, passport, parents, and a therapist. Everybody. There you go. Here you go. And like a kettlebell, right?
Starting that in the new society. We all
You
need.
got you covered, right? Yeah. And there's stigma, right? We can look, I've talked to therapists, a number of therapists who say, I understand why men don't come to therapy. A lot of times they get railroaded. They don't get listened to. It's not as important. They feel like the therapist is taking sides.
Yeah.
Right? If that's their experience, and that's in the collective of like men don't trust therapists. That right there is the thing. One, they're not comfortable with any of it. And then 2, why am I going to go sit with someone who's not on my side?
Lovers, thank you again for tuning in. If you enjoyed the show, hit subscribe and head over to eatplaysex.com to connect with me and grab my sexy guides. Because my goal here is to get you to eat, play, and sex better so you can improve your sex life, which will improve every aspect of your life. Until next time, keep it sexy.